Sup gamers, it's Jay Gaming and welcome to Super Meat Boy. This is a weird indie game that's famously known for being incredibly difficult. In this there are a few basic controls: walking, jumping, wall jumping off the same wall, and of course being able to run while doing all of these things. I thought it would be a fun idea to see how much of this game I could complete without running. Now, running on PS4 uses the square button, and, well, any action that uses the square button is banned, so certain character abilities can't be used either. So let's just see what we can do within this game. Starting off with the forest, we have to complete 17 levels in each world in order to advance the boss, in order to advance to the next world. Now, I have got a full save file, and I'm only going to be using characters from character warp zones that I can actually complete. So, I'm not going to use any characters yet from getting bandages, as I've already collected all of them, and if I was just to show where they were, it would get confusing, I think. So, it's probably the best way to do it, and also I don't think any of the characters that you can get at the start are that useful. So yeah, let's just jump right into this. So for the forest being the tutorial, it's tutorial, so it's easy. Although I should show one level in this that can be considered difficult. Not the first one, but the second one. Well, 1-3, the gap. This gap is just too far for you to just walk and jump. You know, you can almost make it, but not quite. There's this wall you can wall jump off of, but you know, that's not going to help you get any distances. However, if you do this kind of precise trick, you can wall jump onto the higher wall and wall jump across. That clears out that level, and that's our first of many puzzles we have to deal with. And to be honest, there are a lot of levels that are pretty easy. We can complete 1-4 through to 120 relatively easily. There are no real hassles, I'm just looking at the replay here for some reason. I should have just cut this out. Anyway, whenever we move on, we now get to move on to the first boss, which is Lil Slugger. And, well, this is the first true roadblock. Essentially, we have to outrun this machine by constantly running to the right. We have to get to a certain area that's near the end of this long section in order to survive the boss. However, there are two sections that are really difficult. Right there, and the one just before it. Because getting past the first wall is really easy, actually. This first breakable wall, all you have to do is hit the bottom, wall jump back, and then go through it. But the next wall is actually kind of difficult. However, there is actually a relatively simple solution. I say simple because it's easy in concept, but it's not the easiest to do under pressure. Many people have probably done this before, but besides that, this is me doing it, and I'm not the greatest at this game, but I am pretty good. So essentially, what you have to do is whenever I get to it, you have to hit some blocks on this wall, but not the bottom one, so you can stand on it and go through. It's relatively simple to do the trick, but it took me a couple of tries, and this is my successful attempt. So that was Chapter 1, The Forest. We managed to complete every single level in this section. Now we have to move on to the hospital, which is Chapter 2. Now the hospital is not the forest, and therefore it's not the tutorial, so some of these levels are actually hard. Case in point, the very first level. We already have a jump that we can't complete. But don't worry. So long as we can complete 17 levels out of the 20 we're given, we can fight the boss. So we're allowed to fail 3 levels. This being one of them that we have to fail. And, well, 2-2 also isn't the greatest. This one I think is possible, but I just couldn't do it. That wasn't why I couldn't do it, that was just me being an idiot. So in this, you're basically on a vertical drop downwards, as opposed to a vertical ascent upwards. And everything's fine, you know. There's no issues with this beginning section. But it's this bit right at the end. Not this jump, right after this jump. Which I actually don't think I show off in this attempt. No, I do. Yeah, right over here. You can't quite make it. If you go too high, you hit the top wall. If you go too low, you hit the spikes at the bottom. So I just skip this one and move on. Thankfully, we can complete Memories 2-3. And this is actually not that hard of a level. You just have to jump over the saw blades. I shouldn't speak too quickly. I shouldn't speak so soon. That's what I meant to say. So yeah, this is an easy level. We can complete this. And we can also complete 2-4 relatively easily. Doesn't take that much effort. 2-5 was a difficult one though. The big empty. And well, the name says it all really. It's a big empty room. We can't quite get the height to reach the top fan. However, we can climb up this bit, which could allow for some progress. But I just, for some reason, kept trying to go this way, because I was like, this is the easy way to do it, so that's why I tried. You can't do it that way. As you can see, I just plummet into the pit. So I tried climbing up this side again, because I think, you know, this works. And I managed to do it. Essentially, you have to do a very small jump to get into the fan blade, but you don't want to jump directly into the wind, as you'll just get sent up into the heavens. Now, the grain was one of these levels that I think wouldn't be done, because these fans will keep you away, and you normally have to run through them. But I got past the first one relatively easily. Now, the second one I thought was going to mess up, but I literally brute forced it and got in. Barely. And, in fact, we can complete a bunch of levels now. Complete 2-7 all the way to 2-15, and now 2-16. This is a possible level, I just wanted to show it because of this. I thought it was dead here, but I wasn't. There's a little bit of ground right at the bottom. I just thought it was interesting to show. And while we're here, I guess I should show the whole level, because that laser, there's no way you're getting across that. You have to wall jump up the side, and then wall jump onto this. And luckily there's an alcove for you to dodge through this laser, but of course I jumped straight into it, because I'm smart. Okay, we're back at this bit. So I wait for the laser to disappear this time, and you just have to wall jump in this little bit. And just jump to Bandage Girl. And now that's done, we can complete all the way up until 220, which gives us a total of enough levels cleared. And now we can fight Chad. Yes, that's his name. In this level, it's a vertical ascent while you're dodging his attacks. You essentially have to collect keys to bring closer and closer to light, which I guess kills him, I don't know. But this is actually relatively easy. You just have to dodge that attack, and then you don't have to worry about him for the rest of the level. For the rest of the level, you're just trying to rush to the keys. You may get hit here if you're fast enough, but you're probably not going to be because you can't sprint. And then you just have to climb up to this bit, and climb over this wall. I took it carefully because you can die at the top of the screen. And then you have to jump over to this side. Which again, isn't that hard. And then the light shines and kills Chad. And I don't know why I watched part of this cutscene. I think it's just because I hadn't watched any of it at all. But yeah, that's the entirety of the hospital done. I believe there's only 2 levels that we can actually complete, being the first 2. Next up is Chapter 3, the Salt Factory. And, well, the salt is a gamer term, salty being a gamer term. And, well, it's quite strong here. Put it that way. 3-1, like 2-1, is another one of those which is impossible. Because this jump takes way too long to get across. I tried wall jumping over it, and then tried standing on this little ledge and just jumping. Nothing seemed to work. Thanks for that, Dr. Fetus. You just put up both middle fingers. That's something he does. It's fine. Luckily, 3-2 is completely possible. Kinda difficult, just there's that jump, which is actually an interesting puzzle to sort out. You have to stand on this tiny ledge right there, and you barely got enough height to get across. Then once I had completed that, managed to complete up to 3-6, and 3-7 is another one of those which just looks impossible. I mean, 3-7 is one of those, it's just impossible. Mind the gap. Well, the gap is too big just to mind, so I guess we're just dead here. We have to move on. There's 2 failed levels already. Thankfully 3-8 is possible, up until 3-11 as well, but 3-12... This is a vertical ascent and we're trapped between sets of sword blades. At points you're supposed to jump across using your sprint, but well, we don't have sprint for one. And another thing is, we can't cross this gap. We either hit the top, or we hit the bottom. There is no in between. So that's 3 levels that we've skipped. We have to complete every level now. And we can complete 3-13 all the way through to 3-19 with relative ease. 3-20 is a difficult one though. This jump is barely out of reach. However, if we wall jump off the very top of a starting platform, we can barely make it. And I mean barely. We then just have to slide down this, go over. Okay, this was the successful attempt. This part is so nerve-wracking. You have to jump over the missiles in perfect timing, or just dodge them frantically. But now we get to move on to the boss of Chapter 3. Brownie, and mind you, we had only completed 17 levels, we barely got through that. So this is a race against him with a rising salt, and I was fairly certain this was impossible the normal way, so I attempted it once and then tried a speedrunning trick. You can get on the very outer edge and wall jump up the wall and skip the entire fight, So I tried this for a while. In fact, I did like 5 minutes of attempts. Doesn't seem like a lot, but after 5 minutes, you can tell that it's just not happening. I think you could do it if you really knew how to do the trick normally, but I just couldn't. I just couldn't get the trick done. However, I did give the normal route one last attempt, because I thought, you know what, I can get this done. And well, did I get it done? Well, no, I got stuck at the exact same jump. So I went back to doing this, and you know, I think you can get it. As you can see, you can survive going out of bounds just a bit, but you can't go too far out. But I wasn't done yet. I went into 316, and if you wait on this platform here, just for a little bit, to like 9 seconds, you enter a character warp zone. The character that you would get here is Ogmo, and his ability is a double jump. Out of all of the character warp zones, he is the only one with an extended height ability, which is why I went for him and no one else. The first room is easy, I only died once, but the second room, we can't get over the first jump. Essentially, you have to jump over the first, under the second, and jump over the third. But I can do it. This is my last resort, and I'm completely out of ideas. So, from what I know, it is not possible to complete Super Meat Boy without running. So thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, and hit the bell for any new videos. And as always, keep on gaming.